What's happening, my guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today is another returning guest, Kevin Brown. I'm really excited for this episode. Me and Kevin met back in 2018 when we were both very, very different people, and it's a very different podcast to the first one we ever had. It was very centered around like mindset, athleticism, but this one's a lot more about the realm of inner peace, calmness, spirituality, and also a really big trend that we're seeing more and more of, especially on the west coast of Scotland, of breathwork, and actually some of the big misconceptions surrounding that as well, and just how to actually become someone that's not operating in this fight or flight state. So do me a massive favour before we get stuck into this today. Hit subscribe to the channel and please enjoy this episode. Kevin, how would you describe this season of your life, bro?
Straight and hard.
That's what I'm all about, man.
This season of my life, wow. I would say, if I was to be honest in what's been going on recently, this year in particular, I would say it's all about depth. So I've been using a little quote that I picked up somewhere, and I'm unable to lock it down where exactly I heard it first, but it's almost like the level of depth to everything, my consciousness, everything that I'm feeling, everything I'm experiencing is so deep, and I'm loving it. It's new. It can be unnerving, unsettling, but welcoming. I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm. What flipped the switch that made you go deeper? You said obviously this year.
Maybe, as I say, in the last year in particular, in the lead up to the sort of the end of the year, I think there was a bit of a realisation. I talked about this recently. There was a bit of a realisation. I was on a morning walk in Corinne, and it was strange. I was listening to, it was possibly Theo Vaughan with Gabor Mate, right? So it was a strange combination of people, very strange. And I actually tuned into it because I was just looking for something light to listen to, and I thought, what a good combination, this will be funny, but anyway, it sort of opened something up. Gabor Mate talked about trauma, and he talked about the Greek meaning of the Greek meaning of trauma is wounds, and he went into this as he's trying to articulate it for Theo, which made it really easy for me, and I'd never heard it articulated in this way. And he talked about wounds being something that's really difficult to touch. It'll bleed, it's raw, and something. The other part of it is when it's really hardened. So you've shut it down, you've really become hardened to it. And truth be told, I've got nothing but openness in this now. I burst into tears walking down Whitehorse Road and going in. I just burst into tears, and I didn't understand what had just opened up. But by the time I got home, I went into the living room and my wife was sitting with her coffee, and she could see, shit, something's went down. What's wrong? And I says, don't get up. I need to sit with this a minute, because it was almost like everything had hit me. All the years why I'd been the way I'd been, why I had, at times been such a people pleaser, at times been so avoiding, at times been so disrupting. At times, all my behaviours, all the events, everything came flooding at one time, and I'd never been so open to it. And I just decided just to sit as long as I could, right in it, and it was almost like it was clarity, and that's no from a place of faith or anything like that. It was just the most real feeling that I'd had. And it was from that moment, I was just like, wow, you know what? I want to sit with more of that. So if something comes up, I want to feel it. I don't want to run away from it. I don't want to try and analyse it or put judgment on it. I'm just going to sit with it. And it's been a blessing for me, because it's genuinely, hand on heart, gave me an element of peace that I was missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's insane, man. Since you've went for a bit of a spiritual awakening, mate.
It's strange because I'm still the same guy, but I think the stuff I do with guys and all that, I guess I wasn't practicing what I preach. So I'm getting guys to explore the way they are, why are they the way they are, and for them to sit with that. So rather than avoid it, put it on a table, let's look at it, let's integrate it and all that. But I'd never truly done it with myself. I'd done a bit of it when I started dabbling with NLP. I did a bit when I started dabbling with breathwork. Little bits here and there. You would dabble in, oh, that's me, I'm a better person than I was before. I'm a little bit better. This was different. This was a true understanding of why are you this? Why are you this version? Why were you all those older versions? Why were you so chaotic, disruptive, inflicting on yourself? Why were you so tough on yourself? Why were you so tough on others?
Yeah.
Why did you show up in the way you were doing with relationships? Why did you mess up so many things? And it's all started to make sense, and it goes right back to early wounds that I'd never fully faced.
Yeah.
And the good thing is when you face them in that way, you're no longer suppressing them.
Yeah.
You're letting them come up and saying, no, I'm okay with this now. Whereas I think for many years it was like, we don't talk about that shit. We don't.
Yeah.
So it's been good. So that's a long-winded way of saying that's gave me new depth. That's gave me new peace, and ultimately, I don't think I need to own that. I know I'm a better dad. I know I'm a better husband. I know I'm of better service in the world, which is really cool.
Yeah, man.
It's really cool.
What you said there though about when I was practicing it I wasn't practicing myself, mate, you'll come to another realisation in another few years that will be profound about something you were doing right now that you won't know. The path to kind of like, you ever heard of the saying like fitness is the gateway drug? Right? If you kind of go down the path of like self-improvement, it's going to eventually lead to a point where you have to become better connected with yourself.
Yep.
It's that if you don't, you're not doing it right.
Yep, agreed.
But that path is going to be measured on how willing you are to open the doors as you go through them. So see these men that you were talking about that you've helped and they do the thing, they'll have the same realisation in a few years, but it'll be delayed onset. I've worked with mentors, coaches, some of the best in the space, mate. And I'm only coming to terms with some of the stuff they taught me years ago.
Yes.
It's only landing now.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to receive it at that point. Didn't mean that I didn't improve from that point going forward. I yielded so much, I gained so much, I expanded, I gained a higher level. But although there's 7 levels of consciousness, held 5 up there. Yep. But even within those realms, there's different realms of consciousness within them. So you're only ready to kind of like tap into what you're ready to receive at that point. So I wouldn't say that like you hadn't been practicing me. I'd just say that there was probably certain elements that you had been like, well, I can do this bit, but that bit's there and I can't talk about this. But then you get to this point where you carry that weight about like it's a burden, man. And you're like, I need to deal with these things because I'm trying to create an operating system in my mind that's now fatiguing me so much, man. It's fatiguing me so much, and it catches up. And that's like when we were at Mike's gym in Marbella last week, and Mike said something, and it was like the course is massive, and he was like, you have the participants medal, and you have the completion medal. So you do either all the forfeits or the full course. Someone went, how do you like referee it? He went, I don't. He went, it's you at the end because it's you. It has to live. With either saying that you did it or didn't do it. And that's just like, I say that to like people when they're like, and you're going to follow me up in this, and I'm like, no, I'm not. You are. Because it's only you that knows if you're doing the necessary work or being honest with yourself. And sometimes people are like, I'm being honest with myself, and you're like, you're not, man, but that's cool. And you're not going to give someone in trouble with that. You just need to go for that point of them being like, right, the pain of changing is now outweighing the pain of staying the same. It's time to do something, man.
Staring me right in the face and...
Yeah, man. I went through a similar part last year, mate. Mine was a bit different, but it was like got to because that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because me and you've been going back and forward a bit, man. Because it's not even been anything directly, but I'm like
deliberate. It's just...
I'm just on this same wavelength as you, but mine was just through like was away in Asia, loads of points came in at once, man, and then I was just totally worn out, and it was like several big things that happened at once.
Shared
I
this.
was just being like, is this it? Like it was like, and then I was like, I need to go deeper, man. I need to go deeper within. I need to go and do some shadow work and stare at myself in the mirror, man. I need to, and it was just a series of going in further and further. And there's loads of folk will tell you do this, to do that. Like I was just talking about one of my friends before, and even I'm not religious, nor am I atheist. I don't believe that having no faith is almost a bit like silly, like in the sense that if you just believe that we're just here. Like like that's not, there's more to it than that.
You believe in something.
But the more I look into like I'm quite fascinated even by religion and where all these come from, and if you look at it, and my friends try to push me towards the Bible, I'm not there yet, man, but and there's nothing wrong with that at all, but at the same time I'm like, you can, if you just look at like what faith is, what Christianity is, what like the Quran is, it's like a moral compass so that you're not someone that's like self-led and you're like tying into something that's higher power, the spirit, the universe. I'm reading a lot of Michael Singer right now. Are you familiar? He's written like the Surrender Experiment. It's insane, but like all of these people refer to God, and even the sixth state of consciousness is God consciousness. It's like why all of these things all link. Like you can call it whatever you want, but like we have a higher power within us, man. And when you ignore that, and you're on this journey yourself, and you're like, I'm into personal development, and you're like, I'm trying to be better, I'm doing all these things, doing events, improving myself, doing my gratitude, but then the fractures begin to appear, and it's almost like that Theo Vaughn podcast was like, whoa, that was the fracture just going ripping it up. Like, you need to go further in here, mate, because you're trying to make this about the how and the what and the when, and it's deeper.
Well, it's a message, isn't it? It's a message. There's messages out there for us, and I think you're right. You come back to your original point about it won't be the last moment of oh shit. Whoa. Right, that makes sense. Because I know it's not been the first. You know, changing a lot of bad habits, changing circles that your environments that you're in, changing jobs, changing partners, whatever the hell it is, getting into health, getting into fitness, changing what you're into with that, like you say, changing what you believe, changing there's a series of messages will come and you'll go, that one's for me, that one isn't, that one's for me. And yeah, I think it's a cool thing once you realise, and you've talked about this, I know that I've seen when you talk about this whole thing, understanding that we are on a journey. One of the things that I think that a lot of people are hoping for, and what I now know to be true with myself and all the other people that I come into contact with, is I think people believe it's one fucking moment where, the classic, I hit rock bottom and I changed my life. No, you'll hit rock bottom again. And again. And again. And again. You will lose things. You will grieve. You will fucking think that all is lost. And then you'll learn that it isn't. And, people will often think that they can, say to me, so like, because I'm meant to be some sort of guru in that space and I'm not, just a fucking dude that's on his own journey, as you talked about. What was the one thing? One thing. There was 100. There was 100. I wish for the people that I let down afterwards that I could just say it was the one thing. It wasn't the one thing. I would make more mistakes and more mistakes and more mistakes along the way. And there's more to come, and hopefully I'm a little bit better at not hurting myself as much, and certainly not hurting people I love. I feel like I've got a lot better at that part now that I'm an older guy, but certainly through those years of, I shared a thing today, a memory come up. Can't beat a Facebook memory to bring you back to fucking ground zero. 8 years ago, and it's in the May, and I'm saying that on January, I stood on the scales, the 2nd or 3rd of January, I stood on the scales, the heaviest I'd ever been in my life, never ran, never did anything, and I'm missing key ingredients to that story. I'm missing that, I'd been wrecked for, through that period, and I was, just involved in too much crap that I shouldn't have been. But I was going, well, there was another moment in the journey. But that wasn't where it then just became smooth sailing in terms of health and fitness and, you know, and never getting, you know, mad with it again. It wasn't. I wish I could say that. I know people that care for me would probably love me that to be the story, but that's not the story. So I think, like, so many people out there think that it's just a singular track that's just going to take you in a straight line to the pot of gold at the end of the fucking rainbow, and it's not. It's going to be bumpy. And what you and I believe have learned is it'll actually be these moments that are the bits that you will be more proud of. I look at the things I've managed to do in my life. Those aren't the things that that come up the most. What comes up is adversity. What comes up is challenge. What comes up is rejection. What comes up, these are the things that I take most out of. Like right now, battling back from surgery and, you know, that, and, you know, chronic pain and painkillers and all that kind of stuff. And now, you know, it'll be all this I look back on. It won't be the next time I get to race. You know, it won't be the cool breathwork event or something that I do or a thing. It'll be all the struggle and study and sacrifice and hours gone when people didn't, you know, went, I don't think you should do that, you know. As you know, Goggins would say, fucking keep it coming. It'll be that stuff. That's the stuff I think that stick out the most. Like you say, on this whole personal development piece, I think that's the stuff that's got the most value. Because what you said, that's what you have to do when no one's watching. See, behind the scenes, people, you know, just look for the highlight reel. They look for the shortcut. They look for that thing. It's the thing you're in right now.
There's a part when you're going through like a big shift and you're going through a big change, and it obviously sounds like you've been going through that everyone knows what the initial stage of the journey looks like, where you're in a lot of pain. Like you mentioned right there, my God, stepped in the scales. I'm skint. I'm in an unhappy relationship. Like, look at my life. I'm a crap dad. Or what? It's these moments that go, right, I need to change. And then folks start instigating the change, going through it. But then what happens is they just start to plateau and like, I'm there now. But actually, like, fashion works in 7-year cycles, I think it is. So does life. Life just works in these points. And the minute you think you've got it all sussed out is the beginning of the end. It's quite literally the beginning of the end. And what I've personally found is at the wise old age of 32 now, but I like to believe for someone that's 32, I've done quite a lot, like experienced a lot, travelled, built a great brand, changed a lot of lives, done a lot of cool things myself physically. But in the process of doing that, what I've really learned on that journey is it's not just about getting to the point, it's realising that you're delusional to believe that that's the end point and hold on to it so much. And actually, when I really see people going through a lot of change and I respect it, is when they're a well-established person in a field and I can see that they're letting go of it. That takes a lot of bravery, man. It takes a lot of courage to walk away from an area that everyone's applauding you for being in. Everyone's like, you're that guy, you're that woman, you do that thing. And you're like, I don't feel happy doing this. I don't feel like this is a reflection of who I want to be, what I want to do. Like, although it's good and I'm no longer that overweight guy or overweight woman that's unhappy and depressed, but I'm actually now unfulfilled. I would say that takes more bravery than coming out of the pain, because the pain is like, you're only going to get better. See, when you go through that transition of stepping away from a place of comfort that's actually really good on paper, you're probably going to get worse. Like, you will get better, but you're probably going to be worse off before you get better. You're probably going to lose a sense of self that you've never felt before because you've established it so hard. You're probably going to lose certain things and realise there was a lot of things that was holding you together. Like, I've really went through a big change with like my own and how I train and my identity and what I do. And like, I even found that, like, man, I was relying on like a high output to really hold my physique together. Like things like that. Like, I was like, I'm going to go and just train less right now and do that, and not even say I'm going to go back to racing or do this. I don't even care. See, when folk ask me, they go like, do you run? I go to a run club. Like, I'm just crushing my ego right now at this stage of my life.
But what do you think is the motivation behind that?
And motivation behind it, mate, was I realised that there was so many things I was doing in autopilot, no different to what someone was doing if they were doing damaging behaviours. I was just doing things because it was like fueling my brand. You know what I mean? So it was like, a big part of this is like, I do this stuff because I want to do it. But then a big part of me was like, well, I do it as well because it helps my brand. And it was becoming like ratio of brand to personal was like outweighing.
Why I asked that, and I think it's really interesting what you've just said, because, you know, I'm on the final week of a little 4-week Kings thing called the Kings Club block, and week 3 was the most biggest breakthrough week. What you've just described is basically what all the guys face, which is we did it on values, and it was such a powerful shift in everyone, because what I hear when I hear you say that is you sort of did a bit of a values test on that and went, actually, I fucking value my health probably more than I value my brand. Because I remember when you posted the video, when you were like, this is not good for me. And I could hear this value of health coming out so strong. It's not that you didn't value your brand, but you valued yourself and your health so much higher. And you were like, if I continue redlining like this, the handbrake's not going to work. I'm going there. And I don't want that for me. And it was such a cool, certainly that's how I heard. That might be wrong, but
no.
And I heard that, and I heard that really strongly when I asked the guys about what they valued, and I asked them about, well, if that's what you value, does your behaviour match up to it? And all of them realised that actual fact, it doesn't match. My behaviour actually tells me that I don't value that as much. You know, and we've seen that a lot. We had like maybe a guy saying I value family more than anything, but what you're talking about is the behaviours that you're talking about is you're working every hour God sends. Well, where does that family value show up? You're full of shit. What? You're full of shit. But I'm not okay, what are you going to do about that? I'm going to do something now. Okay, let me see. It's the
ego, mate. It's the ego just protecting you, because it's like
protecting you.
Because everyone's told you your entire life to go away and do all these things and be successful and achieve loads of money, and now you're there and now you're experiencing it, and you feel this void within you. That's like, it's not money that's the bad thing, it's what the energy that you've built on. But for you to go forward, something has to change. And see, the funny thing is, see that guy that you're talking about there, or anyone else you're talking about, if they take action on this, they might go through this season where I made less money, I didn't get that promotion, I didn't get that advancement, I didn't achieve that big project that I planned on achieving with my business, I didn't add an extra 6 figures on, I didn't hit my £500,000 target, whatever it was, right? But they'll find that they'll be more connected to their family, they'll be in a better creative state, and see in like 6 months, if they've got their head switched on, which I'm assuming they probably are, because they're probably someone in their 30s or 40s, and they've probably got a decade of skill behind them, they'll do better anyway. Well, they'll end up doing better.
You're 100% correct. I think actually it's one of the things when you were talking about, you were doing your little bits recently, and I said cover this subject, and because I don't think it's covered enough. I believe, and to be true, that we've got 2 different narratives online at the moment, really, really strong. You're either hustle hard, outwork everyone, Alex Hormozy mode, or you are, slip into a sound bath, take some iron ashwa and don't work at all that day. Right, both in moderation have their benefits, but the reality is what I've found personally, and for all of the guys that I'm speaking with or working with, it's understanding what you value most, having healthy boundaries around each of the big main markers. You and I can go right back to the very early days of Fit Ayrshire Dads, the FADS trifecta. It is still a golden tool. It's understanding those 3 corners, that career and education, family relationships, health and fitness. You can have multiple more of these, but I think that's most simplistic. So what do I need? I've got a promotion coming up, or I've got a target coming up. Okay, so I value my family a lot, so I need to have a conversation and make sure we've got a healthy boundary in place. Well, where is the line? Well, how far can my health and fitness slip here before I start feeling really overweight, really lethargic and stuff like that? So I found, because people will go, how do you fit it all in, Kev? You know, full-time job, all the different things. And I say, well, it's boundaries and it's open dialogue with the things that I value most, i.e. wife, children, you know, whatever it is. So having those healthy boundaries means that what you're alluding to, you can show up at your best in all of them without being fucking racked with guilt and shame and regret and all the other shadow side that comes. And I really do think it has been a massive, massive thing in terms of what I can achieve. You know, I think very early on it was like, well, just work as hard as you possibly can, and you'll come out on top. Well, that really didn't work because, you know, we're just heading towards a burnout.
That advice works if you're at 20 stone. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you need to work.
You need to work. Yeah.
And it's context, man. It's a thing. I was talking to on our retreat last week in Marbella, like one of the guys that I used to coach, and he came on the retreat and we had a really good chat for like an hour and a good catch up just after the sauna and stuff. And we were just sitting and I was like, there is this like proper, the best way to describe it's like retarded energy of like, your mental health's bad, sign up to an ultra marathon. And you're like, is that really like what you need right now?
Yeah, let's not fix why your mental health's bad.
Yeah, like let's maybe look at the areas of your life. And everyone's like, biggest thing for me is like, it's redefining high performance. It's like high performance is like, I smash all these things and I do that. That's like athletic performance. And I was like, that's great. And it would fall under that bracket. Yes. But like, you can be an everyday high performer. Like, waking up, good routines, good nutrition, like nailing your plan in your organisation, good mindfulness practices, like
presence, peace.
Yeah, that's like being a great high performer, getting shit done.
Yep.
Someone that is knackered, exhausted, they've got out of control nutrition because they've got an event they're not even ready to do. That's low performance, man. That's someone that's clutching straws. And it's the confusing part is everyone's like, you're doing great. It's like the Ozempic thing where like people taking this fat jab and then like people going, well done. And you're like, it's no different to someone that's clearly struggling mentally, struggling physically, who's then signed up to something or doing something or committed to something that everyone's like, it's good for mental health. And you're like, listen to you, man. It's good for mental health. You look like your mental health's in a good place right now. And people are just like, but I'm doing this thing and that's not the point. You've addressed
nothing.
You're addressing nothing here. You're worse than yourself. And I'm not trying to badmouth like doing things like this. I've built an entire career and identity doing it for years, changed my life, shaped me into the man that I am now. But if you're interested in it, it's like something that you know is going to fulfill a higher purpose, and it's something you genuinely really want to do it. But if you're just doing it to fix your mental health or fix your physical health, like you can fix your physical health like by doing things that are free. Go on a walk. Going to bed in time. We've got
a mutual friend that does, you know, the sports massage and stuff like that, and he once told me that, you know, and again I've been quite vocal about this, these modalities that you're outsourcing actual proper work on yourself. That, you know, I'm in the cold water and that's me sorted until you're not in the cold water and you're fucked. But the classic one was, he said to me, he says, sometimes I'll say to someone who's like, just run. I need you to stop running for a few weeks. We need to get on top of this injury. He says, and when I give them that news, you think their life was over and they would just walk out in front of a bus. It's because they're using that thing, that crutch to lean on so heavily. And what you and I are speaking about, they're not looking at, why do I feel this way? What led to me searching so deeply for something? Now, I love the ultra marathon scene. I love that pain. I love that adversity. I love that, can I get this done? But it can't be the only thing.
No, man.
And when, you know, that's been me maybe 5-6 weeks since surgery, and everybody's like, you must be going out your mind. People assume they know. You must be going out your mind. You'll end up rushing back. And I'm like, oh, you've no idea the depth of this guy. You've no idea. You think I've got, you know, other pillars in my life that this whole house is built on strong foundations. a beautiful wife, love and marriage, you know, fantastic kids, a job, a purpose, service. But I think that's the gap that so many, in particular men, and I have to really say that because it's the bulk of where my work lies, they don't have, the foundations aren't built strong, so the house is about to blow. The whole house is going to come down, and no ultra marathon or cold water or, you know, whatever else, that's not going to be the thing that gets about. As you and I have discovered, we've had to look in, we've had to fix some shit, and we'll get back to the other stuff later, sort of thing, as you said.
And the part you mentioned earlier about the wound, depending on someone's experience, mate, and like what they've dealt with from a young age, or how, like, some of the conversations I have with clients about like unearthing things that they've maybe not really been thinking about as tangibly or heavy, and they've spoke about it before and they're aware and they're conscious, but you don't realise if someone's really went through like a lot of like trauma, let's say an eating disorder for example, to the point where they've not been able to fully show themselves to the world and control their food, right? They then struggle to actually self-actualize in loads of other parts of their life afterwards.
100%.
So it's not as simple as just being like, you've done that, now that's it. They struggle to touch that inner voice because they've spent so long almost ignoring it. Driving off of obviously the inner voice controlling them to do things they don't want to do, but to the point where they have shut off the voice of reasoning and the voice of rationale, to the point where it will make them like, Ailey was like in a mental ward for 7 weeks when she was obviously got sick. And when you go through stuff like this, it's not as simple as just, you need to do a lot of work, man, alongside the physical. Like, something I say to our guys is that you don't heal from the outside in, you heal from the inside out. And everyone's trying to plaster it up. And it's not to say to anyone watching this right now that you're doing wrong, but if you're watching this and you're at a point where you're like, I feel like this is sticking, I'm not feeling particularly good right now, it's your sign that you just need to go a bit deeper. You need to start to look at some of the things that you're neglecting, avoiding, or pretending are better than they actually are. Because
I think you're on it. I think you're more on it than you realise. I think I talked earlier about the group that we're currently working on. We're on week 4 right now. What we're working on right now is the archetypes, and in particular the shadow. Now, for anyone who's what Kristian just said there, I think it's so important that if you are in any way interested about what's coming up for you, you should go and look into shadow work. You should watch YouTube videos, read, listen to a podcast, do whatever it is that helps you educate, because just for what I've really planted with my guys this week is it's the shadow is formed by sort of three. The shadow is shaped by 3 filters. So you've got family, culture, and community. So very early, what you were or weren't allowed to show in the family setting, you know, which is kind of where things come up for me. The culture that you grew up in, what was the norms, gender, religion, and all that good stuff in the west of Scotland. I mean, where do we start? And then community, what, you know, school, your friend groups. How did you, again, stuff in there for me? How did you try to fit in? How did you suppress the things that you maybe wanted to say, that you maybe wanted to do, but you didn't want to be left behind and excluded? And this stuff is real. It is so real, and it is enlightening when you, because, and what they tell you about the shadow is once you start to understand, I identify that in me. When you can start to integrate it and be at peace with it, rather than running away from it. So, how do I behave? Well, I do behave like that in a certain way. Well, what's that showing me? How would I prefer to behave? And what value would that have for my life? When you start to talk in that way, you start to go, well, without sort of overcomplicating it, that part of the brain's going, right, you've got this. I don't need to take control here. I don't need to protect you. It sounds to me like you've got this, and you understand that this situation, there's no threat here, and you're okay. And I think that's, it's proper work. It's proper work for people to explore, man, and they'll find new levels.
Yeah, man. I like the physical practicality of doing it as well as the mental side of it, and that's what I believe is the big gap in any of my analysis from all of my calls. It's like the one area, like, if you look at all different forms of people doing different types of work, CBT, like doing psychology, like going to work one-to-one, doing therapy, verbal therapy, a lot of the work can then be focused in one area, and it just then doesn't. So I like the fact that like I don't have a fucking title, so I'm just like, let's do this and let's do that, and I'm only exploring with complete intuition to the point where I'm like pushing to direction, because I feel like sometimes, especially now, people can become very aware because they're like, I've been to therapy, I've done this. It's like, good, you've spoke about something.
Yes.
You've acknowledged something, but you've not went any further, man. You've labelled it as this thing. Yep. And now you're just like sitting there, and that's like a big sticking point that I see for a lot of people, where they're like, yeah, I know I went to therapy and I've done a lot of work and I'm aware of this because of my mum, and I'm like, sounds like you're still dealing with it, man. Yeah. Sounds like you're just very aware of it. Yeah. Sounds like you're just in this point, and you've just bent over and went, this is it. It's not, and that's the big part that so many folk aren't willing to do, is the necessary work in the real world that amplifies that new level. Well,
it's Kristian, see, when you're speaking, it was making me think of, I mean, we're in a world where everyone is screamingly desperate for a label. Mm-hmm. I've got self-diagnosed ADHD. Okay, right, what does that mean to you? Mm-hmm. Well, you know, that explains everything to me. Mm-hmm. Fucking tell me about it. Tell me about what does that, how does it show up? So how do you want to use that as your superpower? No, what do you mean? No, it's holding me back. No, but what are we going to do with it? You can't just forever just decide that this is going to hold you back, and decide that that's it. And there's so many of these types of conversations happening where people have managed to label themselves with 4 different things, but using it as a badge of honour, as a reason why I am not going to do anything about my current situation. You know, I mean, I think when I started in the sort of early days, maybe sort of speaking and doing different things, I would tell people I had dyscalculia, I'd tell people I believed in ADHD, and I never went like that. What the fuck are you doing? Mm-hmm. How does this help anything? Yeah. It doesn't, it progresses me no end. It
renders your reality, mate. Like,
it doesn't add value. Yeah. Does it add value to my life? No, well, it can go. Mm-hmm. And I've almost adopted that ruthlessly to everything. Used to be so consumed by what people would think, what will the world. Does it add value? No, it can go. Yeah. Because, as you mentioned earlier, the bandwidth, man, we've only got so much. Yeah. So focus on your growth, focus on what's important, and stop putting out into the world of this. Here's all the reasons why I didn't do it today.
Yeah. It's such a hard thing to put into practice, because when you start doing it, like, it's one of the parts now I work through our clients in our pro program, and I'm like going through and we're stripping it back, we're looking at the old identity, we're breaking it down. But then I'm like, you have to start challenging this once they know. And when it comes up, it always catches them off guard when it challenges them. We had a client recently that really put themselves out there, really going through a lot of change with body image, like their relationship with food. And they were feeling phenomenal. And then one day they were like, I'm just going to go out, man. I'm going to get some food. I'm going to dance. I'm going to go, and they spoke to someone. And then before you know it, man, they got rejected off that person. But in a way it wasn't rejected. It was like the person was really fucking rude to them, right? Like really, really rude to them. And they were like falling into this way. And they were like, Kristian, I literally done the thing that we've been working through, and I hate it. I feel this way and that way. And I was like, good. I was like, nobody died. Like, but all the beliefs came about how that person felt about themselves. And then they were actually talking to me afterwards, and they were like, it's so mad, I feel better now. They said for about 24 hours after it they felt bad, but they were like, I seen all of the tendencies that I was going to do to validate it all. I was going to start speaking to my friends, and I just held myself from doing it. And I was like, that's it, man.
That's the one. That's the one. I remember years and years ago, my brother Scott told me a thing way back. It was a thing to do with boxing. You've done bits of training, things like that yourself, and you know, to you that you'll make sense of this, but it was new to me. And he talked about when you're in defence, a boxer's in defence, if you master the arts, and by the way, I was shit, right? So let's just go part that. But I did like a white collar thing. Anyway, in the training for this, it's never ever left me. He talked about when you're in defence, you should be able to see the punches coming. You should be, if you're good and you're moving and you're good defence and good. I think It's very much like that. When you start to understand the way that your default mechanisms work. You start to see them coming clearer. And this has been the thing, if we go back to the very first thing you asked me about this, you know, when I was explaining about the depth, I am now, it's all, I don't want to say it's like a detector, but it's almost like I see it coming. This coming down the road, this person that's entered my space, this conversation that I feel, I can look at how they're reacting and what they're doing, or something that's brought up something in my gut that I go, this isn't the room that I should be in anymore, or whatever it is. It's almost like it's coming slower. And I think there's so much, like what you described for your client there, I am hearing that more and more. You know, guys going, I don't know why I'm starting to, I'm seeing it coming. I noticed it in myself. I'm like, because you're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You know, a lot of it recently has been around alcohol behaviours and or how the communication happens in the family home, how they're biting the face off people because they've had a shit day. Well, they're noticing it now before it, you know, they notice it before the words are coming out their mouth.
Yeah.
They're going, this isn't right.
Yeah.
This isn't it. And I think
it's so hard when you're in it though, man, and it's because it's a sense of self. It's a complete sense of self that's keeping you safe, man, and allowing you to resonate and understand the world and make sense of it all. And it's an old operating system that it doesn't care if you're happy though. That's the only thing. It only cares about you trying to make sense of the world. So then you telling yourself, I'm not going to do this anymore, totally exposes you, man.
Yep.
And it makes you go like what you were saying with Scott, your guard literally drops. Yep. And you're like, I can see all these coming now. And now I need to just boom, and take them, man. Yeah. But then you realise, like, oh wait there, man, I've lost a tooth, but actually I now know where the punches are going to come from in the future as well.
Yeah, and you can react better, and it's almost it can become poetic. You'll see it with the work that you do with people over the years from when you first started. You can see the patterns and behaviours before the person can, and what you're trying to get them to do is be able to see them themselves. Yeah. So that you don't need to teach them. They should be able to become self-taught and recognise genuine threats, not just the limbic system that we're defaulting back to telling us that we're going to die. No, you're not going to fucking die. You're going to be okay. This is a test. How do you want to come through this test?
Yeah, man. Yeah. How did you then, so obviously this happened last year, and this stuff's like a build up, right? But like obviously you're big now, and like you've kind of brought breathwork to Ayrshire. I know that was probably done here before in case anyone's watching this, but it's became known about because you're getting big groups. I've spoke to a few people that have went along to it. One of my old clients, Donna, that I still regularly speak to, is now a good friend of mine. She spoke about it. She spoke to someone recently that was like, I went with Donna, and I was like, brilliant, man. So how did you then, like, how did that happen?
The breathwork thing's been quite cool because, again, I think it was part of my own journey. So I was like, you know, I've been looking about at the whole breathwork scene. It burst out, and I was like, I want to do this. Classic Kev. I want to have a little piece of this. I wanted to practice it.
I want the medal.
I wanted the medal. So I went to a couple of different ones in Glasgow, and the first one was quite a funny experience because I'm lying in a small room in Glasgow, and there was maybe 5 of us, and we does this breathwork practice, right? And we comes along, and I'm last in the line. And they said to each of them, how did you feel that? They were doing a bit of a check-in, right? Yeah. Now, I've fell asleep twice, and during this, man, I've not fucking felt anything. I've went after work, still in work hard Kev mode. Yeah. I've went after work straight up to Glasgow. I've smoked out on the mat twice, out cold, drilling at the mouth. Yeah. And I'm like coming along this line, and that folk are going, man, I was seeing like my gran. I was there. I was that, and I'm going, oh shit. The guy goes, what did you think, Kev? I went, I fell asleep. And he just burst out laughing, and he went, that's okay. He says, because you must have needed it. And I went, right, okay. So he leaves that, and I went, I don't think that was the breathwork for me, because I don't know what I was searching for, but everyone had told me you can get
that was your signals though, bro. That was that you were running on that, because we had that, like,
exactly
people
that
fell asleep, mate.
Exactly.
I was running it last week. Some people, I couldn't do it, and I was like, that was your sign, man.
It was, but it's not till later that you can actually go, that actually was exactly what was supposed to happen.
Exactly, because your mind tells you exactly lead folk are like, I'm meant to feel this way and I'm meant to feel that way and I'm not doing this right. It's the same when the people like do something that they've observed a lot through social media.
Yes.
Because you're like,
yes,
should I feel like this before race day? Like, when I do my tan before this like photo shoot, is it meant to be like this? Like, when I do this breath work, I'm meant to feel. When I go to like Bali and I'm meant to, like, everyone tries to live the experience
that they've watched.
That they've watched.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And I guess now looking back on that one, I wasn't regulated. And that beautiful calming practice allowed me to become regulated and just go, boom, shut down. I then went to another one. It was a combination of breathwork and sound bath. We did the sound bath piece gave me a migraine, which was a surreal experience. And the breathwork, I was just in my own head, man. I was totally in my own head. Then I was told about a guy called Josh Connolly, so a guy from down south. I was told about his event, it was happening in Glasgow, and I went, right, I've heard this is good, let one last roll of the dice. So goes up, and it's in like a big building in Glasgow, in a cellar type thing, like Game of Thrones type. Setting was immense. There's like, there must have been about 100 people at least in this room on mats, man. And I was like, whoa, what is this? So lies down, and I just had a vibe. I don't know, there was something about, I connected quite quickly to the guy, which is massive in itself. And he said, whatever happens, if you get caught in your own head and you come out the pattern, chill out, get back into it. Now, I needed to hear that, because what happens so often with the breathwork is you come out, you get caught in your own, I'm not getting it. That person next to me, Kristian next to me, here's breathing like a champ, man, and I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Yeah, you can't. Right, so that message was the turning point, because it happened when I was doing it, and I got caught up in the head, and I heard him go, chill out and get back into it. But when I settled back into it, I was going through like the third and final round, and I saw my wife, and it was beautiful, man. And I had sort of been in with a bit of an idea that it could be maybe a painful experience and all this kind of stuff, and it totally flipped everything, because I was glad that I didn't go up with anyone telling me beforehand, you might also see something beautiful. And I did. And I seen Danny, and I seen happiness, and I'm like, tears rolling down my face, man. And I was like, just in a total bliss, right? We does a big release, which was cool. And I'm lying there on these sort of...
Do you have the tunes on and everything?
The tunes are amazing.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Tunes are... You'd love mine. I'm getting some playlists, man. So we're in the room, and he comes round and he went, what did you think? And I went, wow. I says, I just had such a nice experience. I says, I would almost given up a slip, because I tried different breathworks. And he sort of said something similar to what you were saying there. He's like... He says, social media's got it all packaged up, man, and it's meant to be, this is the experience that you will have, man, and it's not like that. He says, you could come to me 5 times and get 5 different experiences.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I said, when I walked out of there and I was getting the train back down the road, I went, if he ever does facilitation training, I'm on it. And I knew, I waited and waited and waited. He eventually did. I did it. I loved the training, I loved the facilitation. It's a fantastic community, that I'm part of with that. He's been great for me because it's relatable. There's a good connection there. And then I decided to go for it and do International Men's Day. I decided I was going to put on a free event. I was going to celebrate International Men's Day because it's an important event for me right in there. And I just went for it, and it was amazing, man. We had 30 guys in a room down in Dalry Beeve area, and when they did their release, and just to add to the dramatics, my son was in the room. My son was in the room helping me just make sure the night went smooth, because I knew I needed someone to have my back, and there's no better connection than your boy. So I had my grown-up boy watching his dad do work with men, which he'd never seen. Makes me feel that even just saying it. So for him to be in the room watching, like we did some powerful sort of shares before it and some little things, but when we get into the breath, and more than 2/3 of the men in the room had never done breath work. So for them to trust me and give me that for me to hold space for them. It was unbelievable when they came to and everybody's just sitting and I'm like, oh fuck, they fucking hated it. Because no one's speaking. And then next minute it's just these faces start looking and I can see, wet eyes and something in an aura in the room, and the guys were loving it. And then that was it. I just decided that I wasn't going to go over the top with it. It wasn't going to be like every week, but it was going to be every so often I'll do a special event. I did the Hans Zimmer night, which was, I love Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take my favourite music and do something. I was up in which was funny, the above the sports bar in Irvine, up in the kind of private venue. So we're in a nightclub sort of venue type thing. And we've got the Hans Zimmer and we've got the lights, and it was immersive. I could just literally, I go into it with them and I can just see people sinking into the floor, man, as they're doing this powerful pattern. And again, we had maybe nearly 50 people in the room, and that might have been the one your friend was at. Actually, I'm not sure if it was maybe the one after, but the release you would have heard in Kilmarnock, it was powerful, But the good thing is that I try and combine it, because in having since been to a few different ones, I'm adding a bit of journaling at the beginning and a bit of journaling at the end.
I'm looking at a 3-hour session in Bali last year.
You told me.
Yeah, it was like an hour and 45 minutes, but they done the full. It was amazing. Yeah. It was like 2 people facilitating it. Two of my friends, and it was insane, man.
It should be an experience.
It was like a pure show. Like it was hours. It was like we paid a lot of money to be there and stuff. Well, it was brilliant. It was amazing. So it was like it's amazing going to places like Bali, and that's so accessible. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
But you've also got the other side to it, where a lot of folk put on a show. Like that's you probably wouldn't have seen that as much in Scotland, because the majority of people wouldn't be like, as you said, 2/3 of the guys in that room have never done it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other side to it is you get folk, you're like, mate, shut up, man. You're like, folk are going, like screaming, and I'm like, is that really, like, I don't know, man. Like I'm not judgmental, but like it is a fit in Bali certainly as well, man. It's like the home of woo-woo, isn't it?
Well, so yeah, it's always a balancing act. There's a couple of good points I'm going to make about it. One, I'm glad, and I'll just as you've been good over the years at calling it BS in the fitness industry and stuff that you've seen, I call it a lot of BS that I'm seeing in the health and wellness. I think that's now following a lot of paths that the fitness industry followed in the early days, man. And a couple of things that I'm so glad that my income, my livelihood doesn't depend on me doing these wee extra things. I do them because what we've talked about, I really think that there's something in it to help people. So I keep it rock bottom cost, and I tell people, if you're coming to this for something, make sure you use the thing that you find. Don't think that this is the answer. This is the answer. This is not the answer. It's another modality. It's not the answer. I'm not the answer. I might be the person who takes said key and opens a few doors. You choose what door you go through.
Breathwork definitely opens a big door, though. It does open a bit. It's not the answer, but it opens a big ass door, man. It was the one. My friend Theo said this when he was on the podcast. I was like, "What's the one thing?" And he was like, "Breathwork." He was like, "That is the one thing that's like, if people are looking for like answers and they're looking like
it's the most natural thing available to you." But what do you know? Something again, you're on something here, and why if people are watching this going, "Fuck me, I need to try breathwork." You don't need to try mine, but go try breathwork.
Go on YouTube.
Go try that shit. Because what I realised is, especially from the last, that's been me maybe 4 years of coaching, 4 years, something like that, right? Now, what I know to be true, I've got really good over the years of helping you get out of your head. But see if I can regulate you first, man, you just open the door for me. So if I can get you regulated, because what me and you both know is you're holding everything in here. Oh my God, I think the stuff Joe Dispenza talks about your thoughts can make you well, but your thoughts can make you sick.
Mate, stress is killing people, mate.
This is where I'm.
Disease, mate.
But you don't.
Cancer.
Everyone thinks that it's the part of the stress. For example, what you've said, the stress is the person that shouts out in the room and he cusses and swears and all that. No, man, it's the gut problems, it's the sleep problems, it's the digestive problems, all the different things. They're not regulated.
Yeah.
They're not regulated, and it's killing people.
Yeah.
It's killing people. I look at my early years, unregulated, destructive behaviours, which led to a diagnosis that I've now got for life in urticaria, a skin condition. That getting out of my own head wasn't going to fix that. It was deep rooted.
Yeah.
And I was not regulated, and now it's a release of histamine that I'll need to live with for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
God, I wish people knew more. I wish we as a society knew more about this part.
Mate, look at autoimmunity disorders.
Yes.
Mate, and look at so much of what people are suffering with now, what they're experiencing, gut issues, like skin conditions.
Yep.
That didn't exist like in the world like so many hundreds of years ago.
Yep.
It wasn't there. It's here because of the way that we're living our life, and people are in denial about it. And we're living in a world now that we need to train ourselves to be in, because it's no longer like the stuff that is going to make you feel good is free and you can do it anytime.
Yep.
But so many folk are in this like washing machine, caught up in their life, go, on their phones, on their emails, on WhatsApp, to the next thing, constantly available, like saying yes to everything, doing more things in a week that you would never have done because you wouldn't have had that connection there. And it's just pushing more and more people away from who they are. It's like, there's a book, mate, called Lost Connections, and I read it years ago, and it's like, as I've been on this journey, I'm like, there is a mass disconnection happening. I don't know like how much of a, I don't know if you would call it a conspiracist, because it's a factualist, mate, like especially with like, the Epstein files coming out and everything that's came out on it. Look back at thousands of years ago, mate. Look at like religion and how it's controlled people. The mass controlling isn't happening now through religion. It's happening through television, sports, media, mate.
Media.
And people are like, no, it's not. It's like, see media, like football, right? Being back here right now, I'm not dissing anyone that's into football. See folk that the only thing they talk about is like football. It's like the Roman Empire and like the chariots going around the centre, distracting everyone from what's actually happening. This is a fact, mate. Like, and people are like, I woke up, I watch Joe Rogan, and you're like, mate, you're butting up backwards, man, like a wee puppet going through the Matrix. Mm-hmm. And so many folk don't realise that like it is a war. And my friend Johnny said this through a faith way in Christianity, but where I took it from, it's a spiritual war, mate. Disconnecting people from themselves, and to the point, even if people be seeing the title of this podcast, like, who are they, man, talking about this stuff? Like, they're disconnected, man.
Yep.
Like the ones that genuinely are at that point, like they've got them by the balls, man.
It's interesting, like the disconnection piece, the regulation piece, and stuff like that. And I know some of your, people that watch this stuff for you, they'll hear the part that we've just spoke about with the breathwork, and they'll be like, "Fuck yeah, okay." But it's interesting. I did a recent event in a gym, and down at my brother's gym in Irvine, and it was interesting. I could tell when I first started speaking about the breathwork piece, they were like, I could see some people like that, and then I went, let me show you how powerful this is. And they were getting ready for the Glasgow High Rocks the following week, so I got them to red line the shit out it, and then I got two of them. One of them told them, you're going to be going in a second again. I got one to turn around and face me, and I gave them the most simplistic breath pattern to bring them down, their HR down at an alarming rate. And then I went, right, go again. And the one that was stuck in stress head and that stress breathing and stuff was falling apart. Well, the one who was physically lesser was able to surpass and go reach them and then go beyond them. And I was like, so I gave them that little insight, and I says, no, you'll be amazed at what we're going to do next. But I could see people going, well, can you do this shit with breathing? And I went, because as you said, you're disconnected from what's actually free, which you mentioned, free within you and accessible at any time.
Yeah.
You can calm yourself down or fire yourself up at an instant, and you don't need to outsource it to the latest supplements and injections and all the different things. It's right there. And it's been a cool tool in so many different ways.
I think that's why it's rising, mate, because I feel that people are feeling it now, man. I feel like since the lockdown, mate, it's been like a constant folk are questioning more things, and it's like people are now rising and taking it upon themselves, and there's other people that are completely paralysed by it, that are completely blissfully unaware, and they're like, nah, and you're like, nah, everyone needs to rise up and take control of their body and mind, not just to go and do an event, not just to be healthier, not just to lose a bit of weight, but to actually like be in control of their life and be someone that's actually like in control, because there is a mass disconnection happening, man, and like the way that the world is going, especially with technology, these wars, mate, like the plans for the World Economic Forum in 2030 where nobody will own anything and everyone will be happy, electric cars, electric cities, mate, like to the point that you're actually like, you ever seen the movie WALL-E?
Yes.
Where it's like everyone's on that big massive spaceship and it's like one person that owns it all.
Yeah.
Mate, it's literally like that. Like, and people are like, that's crazy. And you're like, how is it crazy? It's literally happening. Like Elon Musk has got Starbase. It's a city. He's creating a factory to create rockets to catapult them out. They want to produce 2 a day.
Wow.
Why do they need that many rockets, mate?
I don't.
Do you know what I mean? Like people
get booked on.
But mate, like everyone's like, it's crazy. I'm like, it's not crazy. It's actually happening.
He's hiding in plain sight.
It's hiding in plain sight. For like, nah, it's too crazy. You're like, there's nothing crazy about it. You're like, people are becoming more and more disconnected, and there's a bunch of people that run the world, mate, that are just like got all these things. It's the same 5 families that own all the media companies, mate. And then folk are like, nah, and you're like, it's not nah. It's actually like you can go and look it up. Like Fox owns Paramount, Paramount owns CNN. It's like, and it traces back to it's that guy. It's insane, mate. And it's like to even believe that like there's no plan or strategy. It's like it can't be that far fetched. It's like it's delusional, mate. Like when people are like,
there's evidence. Yeah.
There's literally evidence there staring at it, and you're like, the more you go deeper into yourself, you wake up to this and you go, I can get why this is like threatening to like people if they want power, because you're taking control. You're not just accepting the way things are. You're not just going with the flow and be like, yeah, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. I get like years ago, mate, like I got my vaccine years ago to leave the country, and I look back at that and I remember a nurse being like, this is terrible. And I remember being like, this is insane, having to get that, man. Like, and you go, you actually think about that on a scale, like what actually happens in the control. You're like, so like you actually like taking control of your body and mind isn't to just fix your stressy state. It's to get control of your life and actually be someone that's in charge, that can direct your family. It doesn't have to be another wee number. And see, the thing is, right, I'm not against anyone not being an entrepreneur or not. It's like everything has a place. But you being someone that can spot the patterns, that is calm, you're not going to literally pass that on through your bloodline to your children to be someone that's anxious, that's scared. Do you know what I mean? Like this work that you're doing in yourself isn't just to gain autonomy and freedom and build a castle somewhere in the middle of nowhere so you can be detached. It's so that you can help your children have freedom as well. So they're not like tied to this handcuff of fear, because so many folk are scared, mate. I speak to so many folks, so many business owners as well that I coach, and it's like, it's a safe, and I'm like, listen to you, man. You sound like you've got a ball and chain on you, like in the government and this and my pension's only going to exist, mate. See folk going like, I'm putting away for a pension. I'm like think about the world that we're moving into right now, and like when I'm a pensioner, what will that be, like 40 50 years time? I mean, it's going to be a very different climate we're in. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so folk are in this point where they don't even realise they're doing it all the time. They've got all these dreams, all these hopes, and they're like, I just want the best for my kid. I'm like, putting money aside so you can buy them games isn't the best for your kid. You being the best for yourself is the best for your kid. You being someone that's in control
for them,
being present, being aware is going to be the thing that's going to allow them to have a more fruitful, joyful life. And not be someone that's in mental captivity, that is just going through the flow of what they think they should do. Surviving, mate. Everyone's just in this little cycle, man, hamster wheel. People say the Matrix, and then like, the folk that say it are like in it, deep in it. I can't do that, man, but I watched Joe Rogan. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen that episode with Joe Rogan when he had the CIA guy on? I'm like, shut up. I'm like, the people just say things and you're just like, wake up, man, like wake up. Like you can take control, but it's hard, mate. That's why it's a hard thing to do. But all these screens and apps and things, it's all a big distraction, man, from like And I used to be someone that was like, how is this all linked? And you're like, it's all linked. You know what I mean? It's a mass disconnection that it's no longer a religion that control like the churches or the things, because it's shifted. It's not like that anymore, as in some countries.
Yeah.
But like now it's like media and mobile phones. That is the control that's happening. It's the disconnection. That book that I mentioned by Johan, I'm butchering this. It's called Lost Connections, right? Johan Hari or something his name is. I read it years ago. It's such a good book. It's about anxiety and depression, why we're all anxious and depressed. Most folk are anxious and depressed because if they're not working themselves to free themselves, they're probably going to be feeling anxious and depressed in the past, in the future. In the past, time traveling, never here. And when you do that and you get here, you get so much freedom, man. You feel so free. And it's like the most selfless thing you can do for your children as well. I don't even have kids. And I just always, when I'm talking to clients, I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to like the kids that you're going to have, the kids that you've got, your staff, your team, your clients. Yeah, there's times they're going to be talking to you, but it's like you have to think about the other people in your life that you care about. As you said, what's your values, family. And they're compromising their values so much because they're doing so many things themselves. They're not willing to let go of, man, operating from fear. Sorry, man, I went off on one there.
No, it's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, it's deep stuff, man. It makes because I used to be like, I kind of got these things, but I couldn't put it into words in myself. And now I'm proud to be able to articulate these things in a way that I know that folk will actually listen. Because it's not someone that's just saying it like
things are making a lot more sense to you now. And
from experiences. And I've always prided myself on being someone that's like, not your cliche. I've not went your cliche path. And I was like, man, I was asleep for so long, man. Like I was letting so many things still happen, but as I say, it's a journey. You know what I mean? It's a journey that you go through. So yeah, mate, I don't even know what time it is right now. We've been going for. We've been rattling through it, man. But I think I've pretty much covered most of what I wanted to tap into today, bro. There was a few other things I was going to say, but like I think for the objective of this today, I wanted just two guys for Ayrshire, mate, that are on this journey, and I wanted to bring us together to impact some people's lives and show them like this area of the world can actually it's almost like this is like a little segregated area where it's like, don't do that here. That's not if it is, obviously, but it's like a very niche community. And I know that from our backgrounds, like the sort of path we've walked, you've been involved with the Fit Ayrshire dads and stuff. And
what do you see what you've just said there with it before we go? Like, what do you think about that? Because obviously you're living away, so maybe I'm trying to make it qualify, but this whole thing about that sort of lonely chapter, you know, that's a term that's out there at the moment. That
Chris Williamson quote.
Yes, and it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful where you are leaning into all of this dialogue and all of this insight and growth and ideas, but it's the world's not ready. Our world. So what we're talking about, two boys from Ayrshire, and you know, you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a total lonely chapter right now, man, where I'm just like everything, like I'm abandoning that sense of self, all those things that I've done, and I'm still like the foundation of what I do is like someone like, you're a fitness coach. I'm like, no, I'm not a fitness coach. So like, do you not do fitness? Obviously I do fitness. Because like if you've got terrible standards and habits and behaviours, but you're not going to get anywhere, man. You're going to be like a ball and chain, as I said. But I'm kind of abandoning this identity that I've had for so long. And
it's right hard, isn't it?
It's so hard, mate. And like, mate, my content's like bombing. Like it's like I put things out, it's like folk are confused. They're like, what are you talking about? And I'm in that period right now where it's like it's such a big shift, and it's such because I've went through such a big shift myself. That like it's like people they're like, what are you talking about? Like it's like you don't talk about those things. Like it's in this weird point right now. I call it the mud. I'm in the mud right now. And it's going well, mate. Like, loads of things, but like it's a weird point, especially when I've taken like a bit of a hard right. So for me, back to your point right there, even though I'm in these different environments and spaces, like the platform that I put out on, that's the best way to summarize this, right? So see, when I left the military to become a personal trainer, right? And I started putting myself out there in social media, it was this like, who is this guy doing this? And like I'm experiencing that right now, because guess what? I no longer care about what people think about me in the real world, right? But I've built a platform that's another world for people knowing me as this thing. So I'm experiencing that all over again of what I felt when I left the Air Force. to start putting myself out there on social media. I'm going through that right now. So like, it's weird. It's like, it's lonelier and even lonelier because it's like the world that I created that I could escape from reality on, not escape from, do you know what I mean though? Like, is now the other world that I'm like, I'm still figuring my voice out. I'm figuring my voice out on this new way here, which is, but when I'm with my clients and it's not like I'm crumbling around like at all, but it's like, I just feel the friction. Like I'm doing it and turning up, and it's like, but there's this like, and I'm figuring that voice out and getting that right now. So I'm totally like, I feel just as like tail between my legs right now as I did when I began. So I feel like it's a good time to like, I feel like it's like, I'm like more on my journey with me. Do you know what I mean? It felt like I'm just kicking off the podcast years ago. Like I feel like it's just like a new chapter. So does that kind of answer your...
No, it does. I think it's good. I think I've noticed it a couple of times. I think I noticed it the very first time when I moved from bit of a, you know, in essence a bit of a banger, you know, doing the wrong things with the wrong people, and no, so much, that's actually no fair, no the wrong people. I was just doing the wrong things, you know. And then you go into fads and you go into and you do all that kind of thing. You start talking about men's mental health and all that, and you start talking about different things, suicide and stuff. I felt a calling at the time, bit of a lonely chapter. Then you're shedding skin, you're losing people. Then I think now, where you know, we're talking about, you and I have shared quite a bit of depth here about our feelings and our insight and our cognitive understanding of things, and you know, and then you're like, yeah, this is another chapter. Suddenly you don't feel quite as inspired by the by the group chat that you've maybe been in for a while, and you're like, are we really talking about this shit? You know, and I'm like, I'm like, passport in hand sort of thing, you know, ready to check out. Mate, of, you know that last chapter.
The biggest heartfelt thing is, right, that it's so funny when someone inquires about like, can you help me do high rocks? And I'm just like, I'm like, how are you getting that from my content now, man? How are you seeing that?
You were a high rocks guy. I was
a high rocks guy, man, and it's like, and I worked hard on building it, and there's nothing against that. I'll still do stuff like that, mate. But it's like, it's such a shift, man, because you're like, you've created this persona of who you are. Obviously, there's three things that create your identity: your beliefs, your words, other people's idea of you. So I'm in that point right now where my beliefs and my words are aligned this new way, but other people's idea of me is still like lagging. So I'm in this lag phase right now. And but see, the thing is, mate, you made a really good point there. You said about when you went from this guy, like the banger, to then like the fads, talking about like mindful, like more probably like health and fitness and why it's important to have discipline and like the world class basics, right? But would you rather take that hard right and do that, or would you rather delay it and drag it out for over an extended period that takes a long time for you to get with the program?
Because you're so worried about how the world will receive you and how you'll be judged.
Both roads lead to the same place.
You'll love this. I heard that a couple of weeks ago. Our greatest fear is not the doing. Our greatest fear is perception of doing. So it's how we will be perceived when you start making decisions like we're making and like others are out there making. You stop caring about how you will be perceived and you start focusing on the actual doing. And I love that.
Yeah, it's so true, man. And the funny thing is like I'm totally in that right now. That's exactly where I am, man. And it's like, I had this sort of like thought a while ago. It's like, well, who am I to be that guy when it's like, it's just recent? How can I have that skill set? I've had the skill set for years, mate, right? But I've never fully allowed myself to go all in on it, right? So the thing that I've really realized is that like, I was even putting walls up in my own mind of like, well, who am I? I can't talk about these things if it's only been recent. It's not been recent. I've just decided to go all in it. And it's like, it's removing what's on the pedestal and putting something else on the pedestal. That's the best way I can describe it. And that's like, it's a hard thing to walk, man. And if anyone's listening to this right now and you're at a point where like, as I said earlier, things are great on paper. Like I mean, in life, I had ticked every like hypothetical list, right? Built a business, a brand, like, I'm not even pure flashy with money, mate. Built a business that was like just shy of like £250,000 annually in turnover. And I say that with pride, mate, not in a way that's like pure boasty, right? I'd done the, like, from a fitness and health coach standpoint, I'd done it.
It was done.
And I was like, where's this at? Do you know what I mean? But then that led me to go, I need to leave this. I need to let this go. Guess what? I lost loads of clients. Like, people stopped inquiring. I'm in this weird phase right now that's like, I need to just sit in this. And I know I'm sharing this really personal stuff,
man.
but I'm saying it because it's like, you have to walk away from something that's amazing on paper to then get to the next level.
And that's what the lonely chapter is. That's
it,
what
man.
it is when you are on those pages and no one knows what comes into, especially you. You don't know what the next pages are.
Yeah.
What you know is that this is the way. This is the way.
I burned the boats, mate.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
you
got
gotta
me.
beat that shit.
Yeah, I burned them, man. So it's like, and I know it's only, and it is everything, like the work we're doing with our clients and that, but it's just your ego taking a pounding, man. And you have to just let go, man, and you have to just like
And back yourself.
back yourself, man. So it's a cool period, the cool phase to be in, man. But
Love it, man.
Yeah, and I want to encourage more people to do it. So I never really speak openly about those things going into. I do speak openly about it, but like going into the finer details. But I think it's important for people to know as well. I don't care. It's it'll make folk go, I can see myself do that as well. Because people hang on because of like what society tells you.
Yep.
People do it. The level one is like they go to uni because but they don't want to go.
Yep.
Or they stay in a job
Yep.
that's like safe. But the level 3, 4, 5 that not a lot of people talk to is when you're actually in a career that makes a lot of money, or you're in a line of work where you're really accredited, or you've got notability. It's like it takes bravery to go, see you later, man. I'm going to go and do this.
Yeah, I've got a calling for something else.
Yeah, man. It's
And it doesn't make sense to anyone.
yeah, and it takes a lot, man. So it's a journey, and I want to encourage more people to just see at the end of the day, man. See when you die, everybody's going to sell it anyway. It is, mate. Like, see, I sold all my belongings, mate, when I moved away, and it was the weirdest, most unearthing feeling ever. I was like,
I remember you did a thing in the empty living room. There was nothing in it.
I was like, somebody's going to do this one day. Like, I had this pure feeling, mate. It'll either be my kids, it'll be like, I don't know, like a relative, and they'll be selling my belongings, mate. How mad is that? That doesn't mean anything.
Fighting over something trivial.
Yeah, mum and dad just bought a house in Cowan in the cottage,
Yeah.
and they got it, and the two brothers are like fighting, and like they massively undersold the property, mate. They got someone, an external person, to come and do it, and mum and dad got it for like a lot less than what they should have, right? And I was like, how mad is that a family lived in that, and like parents lived in it, and now something like a silly wee argument's happening that's like jeopardising this
All
lovely
that's forgotten.
experience there, and it's all forgotten. Like, see the day of your funeral, my funeral, somebody will get in an argument.
Yeah.
Somebody will moan about the food.
Yeah.
Somebody will like say something that's like, they'll make a racist comment about something,
Everybody will
right?
get wrecked.
And then see the next
celebrate
day-
you over drink.
Exactly.
Even if you don't want that.
It means nothing, can on. It obviously does, but what I'm saying is like, it's like the things that you're sweating over so much, man. Like, if you're not going with your heart and you're just trying to be so head, you're just pushing yourself further and further into that disconnection, man. And you're going to feel further and further from yourself. So you get an option, you can let go, let your ego go, because it's just your ego feeling it.
Yep.
It's just being like, no, you need to stay here because of this and because of that.
Yep.
Fuck it.
Yep.
Let it go, man, and see what happens. The universe will send you a signal, and it'll come your way, man.
It'll become clear.
Mate, see, listen to this before we just close off, man. So we're selling the house right now.
Okay.
So we were in Cyprus, and I was like, so I've been traveling now for 18 months, and we've planned 2 years. So it'll be 2 years in November. And I was like that. Obviously, at the start of the year, I was telling you about all the shifts and stuff, and it's been stress, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like traveling a lot, loads of things, like things not going to plan and stuff. I've had a great time, but I can't deny it, mate. It's like, you have to let go of a lot of things that are like, they give me stability, that gives me safety, and it's like a hard journey to go on. And we were like, basically, I want to be somewhere now, man, because we're traveling a lot. I really want to I was in Cyprus and I seen a house with a paddleboard on it, and I went, I want that, man. There was like a wee girl playing outside it, and I was like, I just had this pure urge to be like, that's what I need right now, just like that home base. And then we were like, Cyprus is the place. And then we also were like, we found out it was like, you need to have a big deposit if you're moving from the outside in. So it's like, so we're going to do a golden visa, and to get the property, you need like quite a significant deposit. And I was like, man, that's going to hold us back. And I was like, we need to sell a house and stuff. I thought I would have had enough if it was like less, and I found that out. And I was like, right, we're going to need to sell the house, man, because we're planning on doing it maybe later on, or like keeping that here, or I don't know. And then we're like, we've got tenants in it. Mate, within like a week, my property letting agent, so I'm doing all this work, man, just letting go and following my heart, right? And then the letting agent's like, the guys have just put in the notice, they'll be out in 3 weeks. And I'm like, what? And then I put it in the market. I'm waiting to get the what you call it, surveyor report back on it. Mate, in 4 years, it's increased like 80 grand or something. I know, mate, right?
Wow.
And I was just like,
the world's just lined up.
Mate, right? That's what I'm saying, right? It's like, you just go like that, you go, oh man, like...
You just got to go, okay, just stay quiet, just take it.
Man, just take
in case it takes another turn.
Yeah, I'm just going, and I'm just at this point right now where I'm like, but see, if I was at this point trying to force things and do it, and I remained in that point, mate, I would have continued focusing in areas that weren't true to me, and I might never have came to this conclusion because I would have get distracted by something else that wasn't for it. It would have always happened. The tenants would have always left, right? Everyone's like manifestation. Mate, it's always there, but I describe it like your visor's down, and when you open it up, your visor's like open, man.
Yes.
And that's what like, I'm not saying that like, I don't believe in coincidences, mate. I believe in that everything just happened in synchronicity, but where your state of mind is and where your psychology's at and what you're opting to focus on is going to allow you to see the reality that's going to get you there, mate. That book I was mentioning with Michael Sinclair, the Surrender Experiment, is all about this. It's all about just like allowing yourself. It's not like, woo-woo, if I just like think it up, it'll be there and I'll stay in my bed all day. It's like, no, like energetically align yourself. They're like, walk towards the things, trust yourself, back yourself, and it'll figure itself out. No one that's ever trusted themselves and went with their hearts ever failed, mate.
That's that line, you won't get what you want, you'll get what you focus on. And it's true, if you focus on all the wrong shit and the wrong thoughts and outcomes and all that, then it'll find its way to you. If you start to really focus on what is it I want, how do I want this world to line up for me, then you give yourself a massive fighting chance of that just being the outcome that you get.
It's crazy, man. It's exciting when all these things happen, man. So
absolutely, you just welcome it in. Welcome it in.
But sometimes you need to walk through the fire. It's brutal, man. I've walked through the fire a fair bit this year. It's been good though. But bro, thank you so much.
Fantastic.
It's been awesome, mate. I love that, man. And guys, if you obviously enjoyed the episode as well, do me a massive favour. Hit subscribe. We finally cracked 1,000 subs, man. And then I didn't post anything for like 9 days because I was like so behind on it. And then it just went up again, man. So thank you guys. I hope you're enjoying the content. I will stick Kev's name in the show notes below. You can give him a follow on Instagram as well. But other than that, guys, as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you later. Goodbye.